Today we're going to be doing long division and we will be following two example problems to help us see it in detail. So one quick reminder that I want to point out is our vocabulary, which is our dividend, which is the number we're going to be dividing, our divisor, which is the number we'll be dividing by, and our quotient. Our quotient is going to be the answer that we get at the end. And then keep in mind any remainder, which is just the leftover at the end of a division problem. So our first problem is going to be 2,532 divided by 6. So we want to keep these 6 steps in mind when we are dividing. So in our problem, we can see that 6 cannot go into 2, which is not possible. So we're going to leave it blank at the top, or you could put a 0, whichever you feel more comfortable doing. And now we focus on the next number, which is going to be 25. So 25 can be divided by 6 evenly 4 times. We multiply now 6 by 4 to get 24. Now we subtract. So subtracting 25 by 24 should give us an answer of exactly 1. So now we do step 4, which is to bring down the number that follows. So we're going to bring down the 3, and that should give us 13. So now we're going to be dividing 13 evenly by 6. And that is exactly, and 6 can go into 13 exactly 2 times. So now we multiply 6 by 2, and that should give us 12. So then we do step 3 all over again, and we subtract. That should give us an answer of 1, and we repeat the problem by bringing down the number that follows. So we're going to bring down the 2, and that should give us 12. And then we know that 12 can be divided evenly by 6 exactly 2 times, because 6 times 2 is 12. Once you subtract those two, we'll get an answer of 0, and that just tells us that our number was evenly divided. So if you wanted to check your work, 422 times 6 should give us 2,532. And to keep in mind, if you were to get an answer that is a remainder and you don't have any numbers left to bring down, that is just our remainder. So let's say if our problem had a 3 at the end as a leftover, we would just put 422 and then the R, which stands for remainder, R3, that signifies or tells us that we have a remainder of 3. If we were to have a remainder of, let's say, 3. So the next problem that follows, we're going to be focusing with decimals. So we have 3.64 divided by 1.4. So we have to do an important step. We have to turn this decimal into a whole number, and we're only going to be able to do that if we move the decimal place once to the right. Once we do that, it should give us a whole number of 14. But since we did it to our divisor, we also have to do it to our dividend. So we're also moving our decimal point in our dividend by 1 spot over to the right. That should give us 36.4. And so now we just repeat the same steps of long division. So 14 times 2 will give us an answer of 28. We subtract 36 by 28, and that should give us 8. Then we repeat the other step of bringing down the 4, and then we have 84. And so 84 can be divided by 14 evenly 6 times. So 6 times 14 is going to give us an answer of 84. And once you subtract those two, you'll have 0 as our end result. Now, keep in mind, you also have to align the decimal points. That is very important, because if you do not put a decimal point, and let's say we just left it as 26, we're going to get a completely different answer than 36.4. So make sure to align the decimal points when you are dividing decimals. And that is how you do long division with decimals.